How's it going, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Devil May Crypto. Today I want to talk a little bit about NEX, aka the Neon Exchange. What is the Neon Exchange? Well, it is a decentralized exchange running off the Neo platform. What does that mean? It's going to do off-chain trading through Neo. It is one of the parts of the ecosystem, the Neo ecosystem, that is. And you're going to see a lot of the people that work on this within the Zion project. For whatever reason, which I just now realized, a lot of their terms are biblical. The Zion project, Neo, and Trinity. Actually, I don't know if it's biblical or if they just like the Matrix a lot. But I guess we'll find it out in some time. But let's get started. So on the website, I'm gonna go over, what they do, kind of like this, like what they're really all about. We'll go over the team, the roadmap, and then finally the white paper together. Then after that, I'll talk about some points that I think, in the future, what to expect, what I guess, investment wise, how strongly I believe in this, and why it's a good decision. As you all know, I'm a Neo supporter. I truly believe in the Neo ecosystem, and this is an integral part of it. Firstly, I just want to say the website I do love. It is short, sweet, and to the point. But they just go over their main viewpoints. What is the Neon Exchange going to do? It's going to allow for high volume trading. It's going to be done off chain, like I said. Some stuff can be done on chain, but for the most part, I think that's really their main goal. It can be used as a payment service, and you can do complex trades, which is market orders, limit orders, and I'm sure at some point they'll have margin trading too, where you can go short or go long. Once you have set up an account, and once everything is really implemented, they can go off into that. The team is I think it almost mirrors the team of the Zion project. You have Fabio and Fabian. They like their fabs, but you'll see a lot of these guys from the Zion project, and which is a huge part of the Neo ecosystem. And they're very I've talked about them in other videos. They're awesome, and they are supported by the rest of the developers, through Neo, and they have a lot of they have other projects that they're working on. So it is a great team, and it's a team you can trust if you do believe in Neo. As we go down, you can focus on these more and look them yourself. Like I said, I've already talked about them before. But the main thing I want to go, where's the advisors here? I think are towards the bottom. The developers, designers, developers. Okay, the two big advisors here that you see is the on-chain CEO and the on-chain CTO. Okay, another thing I've talked about before is on-chain. On-chain it's a private company, but they're working directly with Neo and within the Neo ecosystem. So they are going to be one of the biggest parts of every single project. So seeing these two on anything, especially something large like the Neo Exchange, is very, very important. They are going to spearhead most of the very, very large projects as advisors. So it's very important you see these two guys, Da Hong Fei and Eric Zhang. It's a very awesome team. I mean, it doesn't really get much better than this. Sometimes you'll see people on other projects that I've talked about. They've worked with people from Neo before or anything else like that. But a team this strong is very, very hard to come by. And one of the most important things is finding a very good team to work with. And since they've already worked together on other projects, and they've already these people developed a Neon wallet, so they've already put stuff out there. They've already worked together. There's a few people I think that might be different from the other project, but the core team is there. So I think that's really, really important. We'll go down to the roadmap next. As you can see, initially, the smart contract examples, Q4 2017. That is how recent they started implementing a lot of the roadmap. And then it goes to Q1, the token sale and open source platform launch. That has not happened yet. Well, a public token sale. I don't know. Who knows about private? I'm sure there's investors and everything else, but it has not. If you go to the top of the page, it says token sale information coming soon. The thing about most ICOs, token sales, whatever you want to call it, is if you live in the United States. I don't know. I mean, I have viewers everywhere around the world, but if you live in the United States, through KYC, Know Your Customer, you will not be able to join in. Of course, there are back channels to that. Would I advise against or for it? I'm going to leave that to you. I personally don't do it. I kind of wait for them to go public and to be traded on exchanges. So a lot of times they shoot down, sometimes they shoot up. There's really no way of knowing. Of course, it all comes back to supply and demand economics at this point, like most trading does. But as long as you're an early investor into it, I don't think there's much to worry about. But a lot of the money does come through ICOs. So the people that are in the countries where it's much easier to bypass KYC or there's no limits on you just because of government regulation, you're very lucky. You're very lucky. But there's that. Wanted to quickly finish on the roadmap here. Once they get past the token platform launch, they're going to do their payment service on their mainnet, where you can go back and forth and pay, like for instance, pay with gas through third party developers and teams, stuff like that. Quarter 3 of 2018 is when they're trading MVP release. MVP is minimum viable product. It is when the initial mainnet launches. Generally, that's how it works. So that's when they're planning on it. Of course, there's no exact dates yet. On a lot of these projects, they have they do in quarters, but from this team, I believe they will deliver on time. After that, they have cross-chain launch and margin trading, like I mentioned. That'll come in quarter 4 of 2018. Really quickly, margin trading is for very, very. I don't know what they're how they're gonna choose which people are and aren't allowed to do it. If maybe how much money you have, or they'll do a percentage of what you have in your account to be used as a foundation for it. Some leverage, some ante to put up. But margin trading is for advanced traders only, in my opinion. If you are very new to this, I highly suggest you only use what you can, because once you start going into margins, I mean the gains and losses are awesome. I mean you can go either way very, very quickly, and you can go in the red very quickly, and you can become, you can get rich, but it's risky. So just a quick caveat for me. And then to be announced, decentralized banking. That is their long term. I wouldn't bet on that in 2018. That's a little bit down the road. But like I said, the roadmap looks good, and we'll see if they deliver on it. They go over some frequently asked questions that you can read through, like where's pre-sale? Is there a white list? Their jobs available? Just things that people have asked them a lot of times. But right now we're going to go over to the white paper. Okay, I wanted to start out. This is the first page of it. Nicely done, I guess. I want to go over the abstract with everybody. I'll read it, and this is their summarization of what they will do and why it's necessary. So it starts off, today cryptocurrencies are primarily traded on centralized exchanges where user funds are at risk to hackers and platform managers. Decentralized exchanges, DEXs, allow users to retain control of their funds as trades are mediated by smart contracts on a blockchain. But on-chain computation is generally too slow to keep up with high-volume order books. The paper describes Neo Exchange as a new decentralized exchange on the Neo blockchain that applies a publicly verifiable off-chain matching engine to handle massive trading volume and support complex orders such as limit orders that are not possible in existing DEXs. Neo Exchange also introduces payment services and fund management layer that enables third-party smart contracts on Neo to send and receive global assets as part of their computation. To fund development and future expansion into related services, NEX, Neo Exchange, will issue 50 million tokens that give holders a share of their profits in its services. So basically, they will have some form of staking, is what the last part of that means. Just like what KuCoin does, and costs, and a lot of these other ones. I think Binance just makes trading cheaper by holding theirs. From what I remember, I don't own any of the Binance coins, but this is going to be something that people really love. Everybody loves passive income. They want to put money into a project that they think is going to reward them with this sort of passive income. For as going back to it, what a really hot topic is masternodes and staking nowadays. People want to hold on to as much as they can of something that they invested in and just passively gain some type of income or recurring value from that. So that's going to be something that people really, really like about the project, and it's I think it's going to be a big part of it. But that's kind of how they explain themselves. We won't go through everything like I did with the abstract, but it's a very important part of it that I think everybody should read. Abstract. First off, it's how they summarize themselves. It's kind of like the first part, like the introduction to a story. Like Harry Potter. Like as a boy wizard. This, and this. Abstract is very well written, done very well there. And let's for the next parts of it, we're not going to go over the entire white paper, but I'm going to go over just some things that I find important on it. So one of the big issues with decentralized exchanges, well, not necessarily decentralized exchanges, but going off chain, is for that scalability, you lose trust because it can be done off chain, kind of the way away from peering eyes. It can be manipulated. So what they want to do is they have what's called their provable fair off-chain matching. What that means is basically they're going to do a public type of algorithm that is agreed upon, and within that system it'll be transparent. And if anything is done off-chain that doesn't add up, that looks wrong, they can actually reward you for finding that. But they want to be as transparent as possible with it, so it will be viewable by the people that really want to look into it. I'm sure there's I'm sure there might be an issue once or twice, but they will reward you for finding issues with it. So I like that a lot about this and their idea, which, like I said, if you do go off chain, there are trust issues, and what they're probably going to do is they're probably going to set a precedent with this, so every other type of off-chain scaling solution has to have some sort of fair fair transparency clause within it. So that's something I found really important in this. Another thing they talk about is the centralized user accounts. One thing about exchanges, or something like Binance or KuCoin, these centralized exchanges, is when you keep your assets on them, they're not necessarily yours. You don't own the private keys to them until they're on your own specific wallet, a hard wallet, like Trezor or something like that, or you do one of those, the paper wallet, something along those lines. But you do not own them. They want to change that a little bit. Of course, in the future, they want to do banking. The reason why most people, a lot of very, very young users, people, I know a lot of 18-year-olds, I'm sure there's some 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds that are doing it too, but very, very young people that are just used to banking, keeping all their stuff just in a bank, or using it, TD Ameritrade or something like that. But they keep it on exchanges, not realizing that, they're exposing themselves and they don't necessarily own it. So within that system, they want to be able to keep it on your own browser, and that's what centralized user accounts means. So you own your private keys and don't leave them on this a centralized exchange to where they actually hold all of your actual holdings, your coins. So that's something I found really cool about this. I'm not going to go through it too much, but like I said, they do want to have decentralized banking. The way they explain it is like this. I'll go over kind of figure 3 here. The NEX exchange enables a long-term vision of decentralized banking through smart contract-based fund management service. Number 1, users buy assets from the conventional services. 2, interact with them through the Neo blockchain and through the Neon Exchange smart contract. 3, these assets can also be traded on Neon Exchange through NEP5 pairs to enable cross-chain exchange. 4, funds are stored in the management contract to have access to other services such as index investment accounts or peer-to-peer lending. Peer-to-peer lending, like for instance, that's what ETHLend is doing right now. And that's the way that a lot of banks make their money from, which is lending or debt. So that ecosystem will evolve over time with this banking. That's kind of just a quick overview of that part. It is far from now. It's not going to happen this year, in my opinion. I don't think they'll touch it this year, but it is their long-term vision. I'm not going to focus on it too much. I just want to give you a broad overview. They talk a little bit about the token. So they say the token allows holders to claim a share of fees generated by the payment service and exchange. In total of 50 million tokens will be issued that entitle holders to a share of the fees taken by the exchange and payment service. So 50 million is their goal. Bitcoin has 21. I think it's 21 or 22. I sound stupid not knowing the exact amount, but I believe it's 21. So it's somewhat similar. I think a little over twice as much. But the holders can claim their profits through staking, where claims staked on the Neon exchange operate similar to gas, and the calculations on the Neo network. In this way, token holders who stake the Neon exchange tokens, they benefit directly from the success. And as more fees are generated, holders will receive larger rewards. We already talked about that, but I just think it's very, very cool, and I'm really looking forward to that aspect of it. They go into the fees, how to claim them, and then some examples, and they talk about their token sale and everything else. I'll go over the example here. It is if you want to read over the white paper, please do. But like I said, I'm not going to address the whole thing. But the example is a user owns 1,000 NEX. And generated fees and tokens equivalent to $100 million at market value since they last made a claim. Assuming the user has staked NEX at a rate of 75%, they would be eligible for a claim worth 100. Sorry, was that 100 million? Yeah, 100 million. Over the so 1,000 times 1,000 over the 50 million that will be in the circulation. And that's 0.75 of what they staked, and that equals $1,500. This rate is hypothetical and will be released true rates at a later time. The claim can be received. The user can get the claims direct cut of fees across the tokens on the exchange. So if you're trading Neo, Gas, NEX, and RPX, user would receive those, or the user claims an equivalent amount of the one's preferred asset type. So you can choose also what you get, or you can just get whatever is traded. But regardless, you'll get the value out of it. I think this is very cool. I wouldn't use the example as canon, but it's a good example because once it's really implemented, that's when the real rates and stuff like that. And I mean, things happen. The worst case is what was it? KuCoin. When they came out with theirs was like super low. I got rid of all mine. I kind of they lost their way along with it. They even had a referral program, but it wasn't very well stated in their project. KuCoins. I trust Neo a lot more than I do them, but you'll see a lot of change within this. I think it's a good example. I wouldn't trust it 100% to say how much exactly it would get. Don't take 1,500. It could be more than that. It could be less, but it's something to consider. And they go over the progress, the technology, and the rest of the roadmap, which we already went over. And they even gave all the reference points. Good for them. There's no warnings in the white paper. Some of them really put out really detail. What can go wrong, why you should worry about the project. Kind of like warning statements. Is that important? I kind of find important. I think it should be on every white paper. They don't really put it on here, but overall, I thoroughly enjoy their white paper. I think it was technical enough for most people to get and to be happy with, but it is a great job. So, key things to take away from this video. Number one, I think decentralized exchanges are the future. Number two, the Neo ecosystem is the truth. Between Neo X, City of Zion, and what they're doing, and all the dApps that are forming under it, I truly believe in the project, and the people that are investing in it, the people that are on the teams, are very, very good at it. They have a lot of experience, and I do believe in the product itself. when it comes to the Neon Exchange, like I said, a lot of the people that are on it are from Study Design, and you know, a lot of the advisors are from, you know, on-chain, and you know, they'll probably add more as they go along. Right now, for short term, I believe that centralized exchanges are a little bit better. They're a little more user-friendly. They have more experience. Binance is the one I use. I don't really trust anybody besides Binance. The communication of Binance is phenomenal. All the problems they've had, they've fixed very, very quickly. I love their team. I love the CEO. Do I believe that Neon Exchange will eventually beat them? Yeah. Yeah, I think the general trend and the consensus in the community of cryptocurrencies and everybody else is to decentralize everything. I'm a true believer in that. I'm a true believer in the Neo ecosystem. So I think this project does have they do have a good plan. They do have, you know, like I said, a good team. I think they will definitely deliver. Some of their long-term objectives are even to do, you know, to be a bank of it. You know, something I've wanted to talk about is keeping your assets on the exchange themselves. It'll be much better to do, you know, on here. I highly advise against it if you're doing it right now. Neon Exchange and their ecosystem is going to make it much better to do and much safer. But keeping it on Binance or KuCoin, whoever you use, I would recommend to put it on a hardware wallet, on a or, you know, online wallet. It's just something that is safer than just keeping it on exchange. Once again, if it's on exchange, you don't own it. You don't. They own it. You do not hold the private keys to it. So just know that if I trust Binance the most, and I keep a little bit on there to, you know, actively trade it and stuff. And if you do that, probably not a huge issue. But there's a lot out there that you should be very wary. It's been proven time and time again that somebody will take someone's money. It'll happen on there, so please protect yourselves. But going back to it, yes, I'm not going to talk about how much to go in on Neon Exchange. Most people are not going to have the ability, because of Know Your Customer, to invest in the first place in the ICO. The people that are, you lucky bastards. The people that aren't, I mean, like I said, there's back channels to go through it to get into the ICO. You can find ways to do it. I'm not going to do it myself. I'll probably wait until it hits exchanges. The fact of it is that because it'll still be very, very new, the price will fluctuate up and down. I usually wait for it to kind of shoot down a little bit. Who knows what will happen, but you know, we'll kind of see, and we'll address that when the time comes. But I hope everybody liked this video. Please drop some comments down. Let's get some conversation going about this. Please subscribe. You'll see it, you know, right here. My last video that I did over on this side and above me towards the end of the video will be a subscribe button. Please hit that. Jam it. I do these videos quite often. What I want to finish off with is, you know, I'm not a financial advisor. These are just my opinions. I'm just an enthusiast, and I do a lot of investing. Hopefully you enjoy the video. Hopefully you kind of like me. If you don't, I know it's because I kind of suck. But everybody have a great day. I'll see you next time.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me.